As here goes Wegman, still with a 47.4. But at the first lap time, it's a 48.6. And then jumped back into the pit, so it's very likely it's just a single lap time there. As Wegman here still improving the lap time. It's a 47.4. And now it's a 47.2, very close to that 46 I was mentioning a couple of seconds ago. Holden also made a bit of an improvement, 47.5 at the moment, and Cassidrash follows behind with a 47.6 yet to be improved. Gonzalez is now in 7th place. In the Nissan GT3, quite an ancient, I would say, duel, because this car actually had quite a bit of good moments. It's not going to be a better lap for now, since after the first chicane nothing really comes out of the Nissan. Something was coming out of Wegman's lap time, but it's not going to be delivered since he went off track in here over Lesmo 1. And then the lap was already voided. So I think he barely has the time. Okay, no, he still has the time to get on going for a better lap time. So Holden here just following car in front. It's going to be Cassidrash, the big scorer here, since he is going to set the newest fastest lap time, a 47.167, with Wegman 88 milliseconds away, and Holden crossing the line and still staying in 3rd place, a 47.2, the same as Wegman. Although the main difference is that one is into the mid 2/10, the other is on the very edge of those 2/10 on the lap time, but still Cassidrash remains in the top of the standings, and he will not try another lap time, so he will have to watch all the other drivers trying to improve with 2 laps to go for them, because they have to go until the 10th minute. The moment the Dutch driver here for JP Motorsport is definitely on a very good valid lap time. Same can't be said about Holden, which goes into the pits and concludes the qualifying session. Wegman has to deliver a low 47 to even try to stay on the top of the standing in his class. He made a good improvement in Ascari. 1/10 has been gained in just those 2 corners, or 3 if you really want to, but realistically it's just those 2, the final 2, which really deliver the improvement in his lap time. He has to go for 80 milliseconds at least, and he will go for a 10th and a tiny bit more, setting a 47.1 and the quickest lap time of the session so far. He still has a lap to go, as Canton, why did I say it in an English manner? Canton here, the Italian, goes on in the 2:19. He has to improve very little to get into 4th, but he has to make a jump to get into 3rd, as Jabudal goes in 4th place. 2.5, no, not even, just a tiny bit more than 2/10 away from Wegman, still leading and still improving. Canton here was improving by a little chunk of time, but he is not anymore, as Vianello went on to get his car into 5th place. And to conclude the qualifying session, Canton goes into the pits, and so he will not improve, he will stay in 7th place. Kiss was improving, but he is not going to set a valid lap time anyway, and Bergman does the same, he goes out while he was improving. We can look at really situation, how the situation went. He goes on again into let's move on. I think he went wide again. Oh yeah, he went wide again and called it a day, but he is for now leading the qualifying session, and Casitra follows just behind. Then it's time for the alien. Kieran is actually on the other end of the whole grid. It's going to be, I think it is Busov. Obviously all the drivers are trying to follow each other to try to get some slipstream and therefore some time on their lap time. As we go with Nicola Busov for rFactor. Following behind is Cruz. Then behind is the McLaren FRL with Low behind. With the 214 and the 992 completely off schedule, they went out of the pits a bit late in my mind, and so they are losing a good chunk of time. Important to notice how Cruz maintains the tail to try to get as much time as possible from the driver in front, although the issue may happen if the driver in front is not fast enough, which may happen. Obviously Melvin Cruz hopes for the toe rather than the pusher. Other than being the pusher for the car ahead. As we go into the second chicane, slightly over the curb, into this move 1 and then 2. Yeah, 2 for free. I'm putting some money on that because I think the slipstream may help a lot, and also Busov is not on a valid lap time. So at the moment he's just helping the rival behind, because the only two drivers on a valid lap time are Cruz and McLaren 737. At the moment those blue flags will really help the Ferrari behind. Although you can see that Busov actually regained some time back. Now he is maintaining the lead. As Busov goes over the line to restart his lap time, and the Cruz goes in. Oh wait, it was valid lap time, so why was he showing blue flags? Huh? Okay, that's very odd. It's not even me. There literally were blue flags showing from the side. Okay, that was a glitch, very likely. Busov is now in 5th place because Van Tielen went on without slipstream to get into the 46s. Top of the qualifying session for now. As the 992 went in 13th place. And someone is... Oh! Okay. So for now Bergman is not in the lobby anymore. But his lap time is still a valid one, so if he can rejoin in the upcoming 5 minutes, he will still stay in 2nd place. He still has 5 minutes of time to go. Can easily maintain. Yeah, I noticed the blue flags have been broken since the nose update. I'm not really sure why at this point. I just think that the first lap time is not considered, even though it has to be considered. I mean, in the Nürburgring update it makes sense since you are technically cutting the track, because you are not doing the whole Nordschleife, you are doing actually just the GP version of the German track, as Busov goes very close to the top, but he stays in second place, 42 milliseconds away from Van Tielen, and Kroos improves himself into 4th place, as Keenan actually goes quicker than anybody else. Terence Keenan here 3 times away from Van Tielen, which then became which then became 40 milliseconds as I was speaking from the Belgian driver. Speaking of Belgium, it's past 6 hours this Sunday. Be sure to check it out. Too busy making the fjord. Ah, yeah, the fjord. Which, yeah, I honestly, little sneak peek about Saturday, which is the 4 hour of the Nordschleife. I will be driving the Mustang, and I can't wait to be a meme on track. Anyway, until then, currently, I mean, after 1,000 years, I will be back racing in an FRL race, finally. In an endurance race, nevertheless. Around 40 milliseconds is the gap between the Kinnan's and Van Tielen's lap times, but I'm still with the Belgian driver, since I think he can have a very good shot at the very top of the qualifying session. Here goes also Busov to improve the lap time. He made the fastest first sector. For now we remain here, as Wegman is now back into the lobby. And those 40 milliseconds will shortly become 25, but on the other end. So Van Tielen for now on the lead, only 25 milliseconds away from Kinnan's lap time. A very interesting bit is that first and second sector are all towards the Belgian, but the final sector is where the magic happens for Keenan, because it was 0.6 for both drivers, although Van Tielen gained around 60 milliseconds. In the second sector, nearly 2/10, but it was a magic improvement by Keenan on the lap time earlier on compared to Van Tielen, which lost around 1/10 and bits. So Keenan just now, ooh, he was improving. He still is improving, actually. It just went wide, but I think it was simply on the limit of that. Ah, because it's not bopped. Oh, okay. Understandable. I honestly didn't know it. I'll be honest. I didn't have this information prior to now. So there is no bop, huh? Okay. Or rather, there is the in-game bop, which technically means no bop, because it's awful. Well, it's not really awful per se, it's just that it's sometimes unbalanced. As Keenan goes over the line, he will not improve the lap time, but he still has to go into the pits. So this means that Van Tielen will effectively be without, I think, any surprise, the pole sitter for the Monza round. Keenan was improving a lot, 2/10 into Lesmo 2, but apparently some mistakes happened into Ascari. Obviously tiny mistakes, since you really just need to underperform a tiny bit to effectively lose everything in the straight lines that track covers. Yeah, you can see the 2:14 is showing that it's not on a valid lap time, but I unfortunately can't see the lap time too. Like, I can't know if he's I can know if he's improving, but I don't trust it. Kroos here is still behind Busov. The only difference is that Busov is in 3rd and Kroos is still in 6th. The same car and very likely the different setup, but technically the same lines as the car in front. And it's going to be an improvement of around a 10th, which puts Kroos in 4th place. Busov remains in 3rd, Van Tielen will be in pole no matter what, but he is still on a valid lap and he still wants to improve. Oh, yeah, he's obviously pushing as much as possible. He doesn't have anything to lose. He just wants to improve the lap time for the sake of it more than anything else. The 214 goes across the line. Still trying to improve, but I think he will just go into the pits at this point. You usually have to brake when the white dotted line appear on under your tires. That's where you really want to brake. Honestly, that's just the only tip I can give you because it's the only tip that exists. But I will go into the race in a short time. 46.602 was the quickest lap time in Alien class, while Swagman made the quickest in Pro class with a 47.117. As we go here for the usual... Okay. 90 minutes of racing for the drivers, so it's going to be a very lengthy round. As we go here for our grid. So I need OBS, otherwise I can't see anything. So Van Tielen is going to be the first car on the left and Keenan the one on the right. Then we have Busov and the Kroos in 3rd and 4th with KD and Wegman. Then Kasitarash and Lowe in the Ferrari right here. Holden and Jabudal are in the Ferrari and the McLaren. Then Eck with Oddo alongside him. And it's going to be Vianello and Smith with Canton and Kiss. Sbella follows in front of Carving in the Ferrari 72 with Gonzalez in the Nissan. Novak, Robinson and Orshkin are the 3 BMW in front of Brown at the very tail of the grid. So we'll go for our 90 minutes of racing here in Monza. Yeah, the Nissan actually not being dead last is actually a good thing. Like, I'm surprised the Nissan is there. It's already better than any expectation I had. For now, we'll go with Van Tielen in 50 seconds. It's a program from the weekend. I have it right now because honestly, it's quite packed up because we have got on Saturday, there is the 4 hour of Nordschleife. Then we've got on Sunday the 6 hour of Spa-Francorchamps. And in IndyCar, it's time for yes, okay. I had to check because I wasn't sure. Indy road course. And then NASCAR is the Darlington week, which means special liveries for practically 3/4 of the field in a throwback event which takes place in Darlington every single year. NASCAR, which this year has been phenomenal, to be fair. It's I think without spoilers, we all saw at least a news or two about the finish last time in Kansas Speedway. Tried to what happened to Atlanta, but for now the NASCAR Cup Series is really going on with a lot of banger races, and Darlington maybe the same. Because Darlington is usually overrated because of deliveries, but I think you wanted to mention David Malukas. Unfortunately, he has been quote unquote promoted to viewer. Unfortunately, because honestly, breaking your wrists in a mountain bike incident, I mean, in your off season, prior to going in a McLaren Arrow, like, why? It's not like Chase Elliott, which can break itself and still go into the playoffs in NASCAR. But that's another. I should actually. I wouldn't say it. I don't think that's possible. Yep. Oh wait. No. No, I'm sure. I have to check effectively because who is. Because I know that Theo Purcher and Callum Allott have to. Oh! Okay. Never mind. Just a news 5 minutes ago from the official Arrow McLaren team. Theo Purcher for the remainder of the season in IndyCar. Haha! No way! Okay, that was honestly the news. You have got the news. Okay. So Purcher for the remainder of. What about Ilott? So it means the Ilott gets sent into Spa automatically. Out of nowhere, not really. Honestly, I actually expected for Ilott to be there, not Purcher. Mostly because, well, Purcher had the championship to contend in Super Formula. And Ilott also has some IndyCar experience while Purcher doesn't. But okay, I guess it's their choice. I honestly would have put Ilott anyway. So Purcher will now be the IndyCar driver for our McLaren team. Understandable. I mean, probably only me and you are interested about this, but this was honestly unexpected. I just opened the chat in the IndyCar and bang, news. Okay. Obviously, David Malukas will remain at home watching his subs going on. But we go for the 90 minutes of racing in Monza. Plenty of time also to discuss about the IndyCar. I can't. I cannot not be distracted. Double negation, literally the best thing. Green flag, and away we go with Van Tielen and Keenan, making both a good start. A bit less by Cruz, getting overtaken by Caddy, and it's going to be too wide for for Van Tielen and Busov. Here goes the Ferrari with red and yellow aspects, and still side by side. Oh, there is a little contact there between the two cars. Oh, there is a car off, and that car off is actually, I think it was Casitra. It was indeed Casitra going the other way around in turn number 1, and it's going to be a very slow car there in, I think it was Otto. It was indeed Otto going very slow after the first chicane, getting overtaken by both cars of Ek and Jaudal in the first chicane. But here we are with Wegman trying to get the overtake done on Caddy. It doesn't happen. Caddy will remain in front for the time being. He actually will try to go in front of the Ferrari ahead, but it's going to be the McLaren of Wegman that takes advantage of the situation and overtakes the Swiss driver on the outside of Lesmo 1. Takes some grass under the tires too, but he will get a better exit out of Lesmo 2. Very likely though. I think it's going to be low behind, trying to get an overtake on the Dutchman. Tries the overtake on the inside of Ascari. He goes on the left. And it's going to be side by side into Ascari, little tap there. And we're kind of going slightly over the curb, but it's going to be still side by side, thrown into the gravel. And oh, he goes away and he spins! He spins in the middle of the straight, and it's going to be Wegman, which takes the position, and everyone else will stay behind, or rather stay in front of Caddy. I want to say stay behind Wegman, because effectively that is really what happened, but it's more informative to say that everybody will stay in front of Caddy, which spun and is now in the very last place, even behind Kasitarash. Now it's going to be Wegman in front of this train. And I don't know why I expressed my inner British commentator in that moment. Free wide! Into the first goal! Oh, there is a contact there between the Ferrari and the McLaren. McLaren that takes the place back and goes straight. It does a battle in Monza. Takes a bit of boxes away and it's going to be close. The winner of the whole field. Taking the place of Wegman, and Lowe follows behind as Caddy is not in the race anymore. And behind is going to be McLaren trying the inside on Eck. It's actually Jabba which is trying the overtake on the BMW. I don't know why for a brief moment I actually noticed that I kind of became very British in the way in the way I said everything. I don't really know why. Eck is still here trying to go alongside Holden. Penalties may be coming for a couple of drivers there. Oh, a bit on the gravel for Eck. We will okay, never mind. We will obviously see, I can't speak. We will certainly see back the incident from a better view afterward. But for now we will remain here with the battle for 17th as Novak takes the place on Sberla. With the Advisor Racing Team going in 17th place behind the Nissan GT3. So a couple of better placed cameras will let us know what really happened to the different cars at the very beginning. We have Kasitarash here going for a spin. It was because of the Ferrari behind, and then it was a chain reaction with a couple of cars getting tailored. Ooh, there is a bit of an overtake there. It's actually an overtake altogether, with Case losing 1 place, 2 places, 3 places. He was in front of Otto and now he is behind Vianello. He still wants the place back, at least one of them. Tries to go for the outbreak there, but nothing can really happen. It's going to be one after the other into Lesmo 1. Way better exit for the Audi driver, which goes into the inside, tries to take the place. Contact between the two drivers, and the Ferrari is into the gravel, losing all the places he was into. And that is going to be curving in front, side by side with Canton, trying to take the place, as the 738 is also out of the track into Lesmo 1 and 2. Side by side for the two drivers with Audi waiting for the Ferrari that has been taken into the gravel. And not only that, but the Audi will lose several places, even behind Kasitarash. Maybe a good action, but that is really not what should have happened. Maybe the penalty will come either way. Kasitarash very close to Robinson in front. As even 738 is not in the race anymore. Few overtake possibilities for the drivers as Berla goes into the inside. There is also side by side there by Gonzalez, which takes the place on the Porsche momentarily, and it's going to be Kasitarash going wide there, taking momentarily the place on Robinson and actually losing the one on Keys. As in front Eck tries and succeed to take the place on Holden in the number 21 Ferrari for around 10 seconds after the Ferrari goes into the inside and takes the place back into Lesmo 1. No contact between... oh, okay, never mind. There was a contact between the two drivers. And it's not the first time that Holden has been involved in an incident, or rather a contact. And that is going to be Jawdal trying to get in front of Ek. Number 86. Can't really see anything. Oh, there was a bit of a contact there. Seems the drivers with the McLaren maybe trying the inside into Ascari. He is going to try. He is not going to succeed. And he will stay behind the Chikik's car. Jumping into the curbs, and that is going to be Otto very close to the McLaren in front, as also, curving is off. Curving is off track. 72, you can see the yellow dot on the minimap. As we're going for our replay. Oh, he went, obviously. So he went over the grass, lost the car on exit. Didn't collide with anyone, although I'm seeing there a Porsche going a bit into the gravel, but it's going to be Gorfing losing every position he had. Canton and the Nissan driver still side by side, and this time it's going to be the Nissan. Okay, never mind. It's going to be Canton, or the Nissan, or both. I'm not really sure which one of the two. It's quite clear that Novak is looking at them, waiting for mayhem to happen. But very likely mayhem will not happen, and the Porsche will still try to go side by side on the outside. There is no space available, and it's going to be the Nissan driver with Gonzalez driving it. Driving the Nissan GT3 to stay in front of Canton, and Novak behind is very keen to try to take the place into 13th. Never mind what I said, because Novak goes off into the gravel, doesn't collide with the wall, makes a beautiful drift, and goes back into the track in 20th place, just in front of Carving. A bit further ahead, it's Heck, which is invisible. It's very likely that Holden will try to hold on the position. I noticed the pun a bit too late, but now I will use it every single time so I can ruin everyone's happiness. The 86 is now in the middle of the sandwich of the two pro drivers, as Keenan still maintains the lead in front of Van Tielen, barely in front of Busov. Definitely trying to get a better exit. He succeeded in doing so, and he will get side by side with the Ferrari driver, but in front is going to be the same as Busov. Goes into the inside and makes contact with Van Tielen, which skips the chicane altogether and remains in his position. Meanwhile, behind is still Eck against the Ferrari, with the BMW driver pushing a bit away the Ferrari driver, taking the place on Holden, and Jawdal is now just millis. What? Oh. What? I'm honestly confused. I need to see it back. What happened there? Why did it let Otto pass by? Was it a misshift? Okay. Ooh. That is a big bonk. Not sure what happened, but I don't see... I can't see anything on the race control in terms of contact. Askinan sets the quickest lap time 47.3. Busov and Van Tielen obviously went a bit slower. The last time they went through. Now there is some time for a bit of a race start recap. So this is what happened between the 737 and the 67 earlier on. some contacts, which then led to calamity for the Swiss driver. You can see from here, contact between the two, with the McLaren going into the gravel, not controlling the car, and then spinning in the middle of the track. In my opinion, racing incident, that one there. Then 67 was again involved against the 21. You can see the free wide that happened on the main straight. The Ferrari trying to get back into the racing line in a bit of a mandatory way. Then this is what happened between the 69 and the 72. Bit of contact, but nothing too much to worry about. We also had some contact between the 86 and the 21. This is what happened between the two. And now Wegman, who just lost the place on low, so a side sweep for the Ferrari. Clear one. Nothing to worry too much about. Now Heck has well, he is in the lead of who is in? I don't actually know. I think I lost at this point. I mean, that's the only probable man able to do it, mostly because well he is a Indy 500 driver. So I think Ilott will stay for the Indy 500. I haven't heard anything though, so it's just speculation or rather opinion. Unless they like drop someone out of nowhere, because at this point I honestly would believe it. But yeah, I think it's going to be Ilott for the Indy 500. For what we know, Ilott may be doing an IndyCar season next year though, because this year he is effectively linked to the WEC seat he has. So maybe it's actually just a partial plan. Maybe they actually have him on the list, replacing Rossi, which is mid-man. For the time being, he has been mid-man and he is a bit mid-man. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the matter. Anyway, here Jabudal trying to follow Otto, the 992. Ooh, that was a... Was it a... I won't say misfire, but... Oh, okay, no, it was just the rear. Okay, it was just the rear going a bit to the other side of the road, as Holden here is following very closely the car in front. of Benjamin Eck. He goes into the right. Breaks a bit later, but that tiny bit may be just what he needs to take the place number 7, and it's going to be this place number 7 for Holden, with Eck now behind Ferrari driver. Still trying to get maybe an overtake back, but it's not happening at the moment. For now, Levinvu stays behind. Considering it's a 90 minutes race, the tactic is going to be slightly different from the usual. We may see someone going for the 40 minutes, maybe someone going for the 50 minutes, maybe someone going for the 30 minutes all of a sudden. Still plenty of time to go for the drivers here. As this battle still goes on. It's likely that the one behind the wheel will get closer to them. For now, the 4 places remain the same, with a 5-3-1 here very close to the 992 ahead. Ooh, that's a mistake by Otto. He goes straight, cuts the chicane. That's going to be a track limit violation, but he will keep the place nevertheless. He will stay in 9th place. And so this means that Jaguar still has to go on pace alone to try to make the place back. Up ahead, for now the situation remains quite stable. We have Keenan still lapping into the 47 high. The Belgian driver behind him is closing, but too many attempts between the two, to be exact 1500. Oh wait, 15 attempts, so 1. Okay, I wanted to make like a suspense kind of thing, but then I actually forgot how numbers work. It's actually just 1.5 seconds. The gap is getting cut by about 1/10 per lap, which ain't a lot, but they have time to get through it. Busov is actually closer to Vantiri and then the Belgian is to the Irish driver, and Kroos is following behind. Low is 5th in the overall standings, and we got Wegman and Holden following one another. Holden actually closing on the car ahead by a good rhythm, as now this duo has closed the gap on Eck, which can't really keep up with the pace. quite clear that a mistake happened on Wegmann's behalf, since he is now just barely in front of the Ferrari following, which is not following anymore. He is actually alongside the McLaren driver. In this lap, Fernando McLaren stays in front, but I don't think at the end of the straight it will be the same. There's some contact between two drivers, door to door. Are we gonna see an Alpine versus Toyota all over again? It's not going to happen this time around. McLaren stays afloat, no contact between two drivers, and it is going to be Wegmann in front momentarily, as Jabudal also made the pass on Oddo in the very same place. McLaren defends the inside. Some contact comes from the battle, but for now Wegmann stays in front, and this actually put Eck back in a fighting position for position number 6. The gap in front is now 2 seconds. It raised from the 1.7 prior to this lap. Busov is another 1.7 behind. The Ferrari has a very good time. Oh, the McLaren was sliding there, and actually the Ferrari had to brake to avoid getting into the diffuser of the car ahead, and Eck comes through very, very quick, but he has to stay behind as Wegmann placed the car on the leftmost side of the track. The McLaren changes direction, goes on the rightmost side of the track. They can't overtake on the non-track surface, so outside of the track limit, but it's going to be too wide. With the Ferrari on the outside, the McLaren inside, the BMW looking at them, maybe hoping for something to happen, more contact between the two drivers. For now the McLaren stays on front, for now very physical, but nothing to be deemed guilty. Well, for now obviously. But Holden lost a bit of time from Wegmann because of that, and Eck is just waiting at this point, since he doesn't really have the pace, but he has oh, he goes for the lunge over the inside. He breaks from around 200 meters away from Holden, takes the place. I want to say it back. You can see here, goes on the left, Ferrari on the right, brakes very heavily, and then makes the pass on the Ferrari driver. Took by surprise, very likely, and that is going to be Eck in 7th place. Holden follows. And Jaural and Oddo are very, very interested about the position they have in front, as we are going to have a wing camera here. It's quite clear that the Ferrari is the quickest car at the moment. Mainly because the top 5 is a Ferrari. The McLaren doesn't really have pace. The BMW is a brick, and Holden is simply passing everyone, everywhere, or rather trying to do so. Two-thirds of the race to go. Still plenty of time to make it for the different drivers. This train has honestly brought the majority of the action so far. I really hope they all pit together at the same time. this train is actually helping Smith getting back into the race. He is for now 2.5. Oh, that's a nice overtake. I think it wasn't really helped by the camera, but it was an interesting pass. You can see Wegman going over the gravel, losing the rear, and getting absolutely smashed by the number 86 there. That was a piece of my wheel. And now behind is back again, Holden against Wegman. Same tactic as earlier on, McLaren on the inside, Ferrari on the outside, but this time the Ferrari breaks way later and takes the place on Wegman, so this is going to be the pass in the lead of the Pro class. This is going to help massively Eck, but I think Wegman will go for the dive on the inside. It will not happen. It's actually the JP Motorsport behind. And this means that very likely Holden will now go for Eck, and that is actually going to be the moment of truth for Holden, or rather for Wegman, because Holden and Eck will obviously battle for position number 6, and Wegman will have the shot. Since I think here in Ascari nothing can really happen, mostly because the Ferrari takes around 2 attempts in this part only. Ooh! Ooh! As a matter of fact, that slide really just helped. Obviously for all the prices in... oh, there was a pass there. As Otto and Javodal made the pass. I actually misclicked a bit too much. Ooh, Cassitra, she's off track there. Oh, Cassitra is not in the race anymore. Directly. Not sure what happened there. So Otto took the place on Jabudal. We can see it back how it happened later on. I think it was just Jabudal going a bit too wide. It was indeed, you can see how wide he was. Oh, just lost the rear there completely. Then the pass was easy. And also I want to see here what really happened. Maybe we can have a better view at it. So he passed Cassitra, which then lost the rear completely and called it a day. That's what happened to Cassitra. He was in the top of the standing in his class prior to the very start of the race. After the start, everything crumbled and went into place. Oh, Smith is off. Oh, wait, Smith is actually... oh, he spun. What happened? Oh, he lost the rear. Oh, he tried to get it back. He started spinning and then sit in the middle of the straight, luckily off the racing line. That is not really going to help. Busov is now closer to Van Tieren. In qualifying it really didn't show much. But apparently the race pace is there as... oh, Holden and Eck. Okay, yeah, I think there was a contact. I'm quite sure there was a contact there because I saw the gap. You can see the Ferrari going absolutely nuts, trying to make the pass, and I think there just wasn't enough space available. As Wegman and Otto... oh, contact! Oh, more contact! And Wegman still stays in front of Otto as the 992 driver gained and lost the place at the same time. For now, Eke remains in front of Holden with 30 laps to go. I know it sounds a lot, but it's actually very little. As Ferrari goes on the leftmost part of the track, absolutely demolishing the BMW in the top speed, which is not something usual. Usually it is the other way around. And the Ferrari is now in front of the number 86. Holden's next objective is low in 5th place. But I think Heck doesn't really have the pace to fight back. He will stay in 7th, unless a mistake happens from the car ahead, which still can happen, obviously. As Instant went in the pits, he's going to be the first driver in the pit lane for a stop and go. Stop and go. Change of tires. Stop and go seems more like a penalty. Very close action for Jawlal, which was trying to get a place better. Oh, he just missed the apex there in Tascari. Oh, he missed more. Oh, he went into the wall. Oh, he just went through the wall. I know what I say, because this is what really was shown on the screen. You can see it back from here. Oh, he just lost the rear and completely smashed the car into the wall, back into the racing line. But you can see the wheel is not really facing the correct way, and the pit is the only way. With a demerged car, unfortunately, because he was one of the contenders for the very podium, for certain, but even a win, and now he is going to be at the back of the field, very likely. As Wegman and Otto here are battling, this means that Wegman will very likely stay in 2nd place in class, which is really, okay. Which effectively is what oh, never mind what I said! Because Wegman spins! Because of Otto going on the inside, and this is actually going to help Robinson, because he sees back the chance to get in 2nd place in class. We'll have to have a look. This is what happened between the two drivers. You can see Otto going into the inside a bit late, hitting the quarter panel, and making the McLaren ahead spin, which lost 10 seconds to the car ahead. Now into the gravel. Robinson was close to make it into 2nd place in class. As I was saying, the important thing is to be in a good position in class, not overall, because the prices are per class, 50 euros, 40 euros for Alien and Pro class. as Novak is now into the pits. Now that it's a bit of a calmer moment, I went to look at the numbers because, well, honestly, yes. And there are currently 75 full grid in GT3, still 6 spots remain in GT4 class for the 4-hour multi-class racing, full spots in Porsche Cup and M2 class. As a Robinson, oh, Robinson is in the middle of Lesmo 1. Oh, that was, oh, there is a contact. That was Oreshkin. No, that was Oreshkin going into the wall. Big one there. As we go back for... No, wrong one. So Robinson here goes into Lesmo 1. Bit too wide. Lost the rear. Went on the gravel. And went back into the racing line. And this is what happened afterwards. You can see all the cars going places, and unfortunately Oreshkin was not so lucky. Better look at it. This is the view from Oreshkin. This is the one from Jabudal that narrowly missed the incident. Seeing a car in the literal middle of the track is not a great thing there. As Smith and Canton were trying to switch places, still are trying to switch places, but I think Canton will remain in front of Smith for position number 11. I think the Ferrari driver could still make it in front of the Porsche. And I think it's certain. I became Scottish for a moment. Today is the day I will change my... Oh, that's a gravel. I will change my accent for no particular reason. I became Murray Walker for a moment earlier on in the race. And now I became John Wright. That will get is the one person that really pulls me into this field. And now you have an Italian voice making your race commentaries, which is a thing. Meanwhile, Smith goes again. This time around, he takes the... Oh, there was a contact there. He wanted to close the door early on. The 219 actually waits for the Ferrari to get back moving. I wouldn't have done that. You see, clipping a bit the rear. Complete halt for the Porsche driver, which now is back in front of Smith, very likely. Oh, that's Jabudal. That's Jabudal going a bit into the gravel and back into the racetrack. So Canton is now back in front of Smith. Oh, that's a very good chance for Eck. Holden doesn't really have the pace now. All of a sudden, the Ferrari driver doesn't really have the pace to fly away. He either jumped the gun too quickly and burned the tires, or Eck found something to have a better pace. Very important to notice that Busov is now on the very tail of Van Tielen, who is gaining a bit of time on Keenan, but very slowly. At a very slow rate. The Rifam is there for the battle for the lead. As of now. As Canton goes into the pits, so Smith gets back the position. And very likely many drivers will go into the pits this time around. If not this lap, the next one. This could be a good chance for Ek to try to make a place, which doesn't happen at the moment. Slightly in front, it is Busov very close to the car ahead. It is Van Tielen. You can see that Keenan may be impacted by the car in front, which is the Nissan. The very same Nissan could help him in the slipstream. Now he has been lucky enough to find them into the straight, so he will be able to use it as a slipstream, but he doesn't. He actually stays away from it and will luckily use the Nissan as a roadblock than anything else. These two are continuing to go on over mind because Keenan went into the pits, and same goes for Busov. So this means the only person that remains out of these three is Van Tielen. Then behind, the Kroos also stays out. Lowe will very likely do the same. And I think this duo here doesn't go the pits, and that is why one of the two is actually going to the pits. Holden is undercutting Ek for position and to get rid of him in a bit less formal way to say it. So I think Van Tielen and the other group of drivers will go in the pits in the very next lap to try to cover the undercut. Although here it's very easy to actually benefit from the overcut. Since it's so easy to make an overtake, I think many drivers will actually try to go for the overcut, and I wouldn't be surprised if these drivers went on for a lot more than the usual, as Keenan and Busov are back into the racing line, and Keenan is going sideways to try to stay in front of Oreshkin. Busov behind hasn't been so lucky. He is still behind these two, and he will very likely try to overtake them. Now, Oreshkin is the only one effectively on the same lap as these ones, because Perla and Jaural have had some quote-unquote issues during the race. As you can see, Jaural actually making an overtake on Oreshkin, which is an effective battle on track, since they are both on the same lap. The only difference is that one has new tires and the other has damage. And no tires, obviously. So Busov actually has to challenge and to find the way rather than to be let pass. To be let pass the Minwu, cutting the corner there to avoid getting into an affair with Orkin. Okay, said like that, it's in my mind sounded better. It's actually not great what I said, and it's too late. So Van Tielen is either waiting for the drivers to go into the pits to avoid getting stuck behind the traffic, or rather end, because effectively there is another way to think about it. He is actually waiting for the 35th minute to go for the overcut, have better tires, losing the place on Busov, like a sacrifice, but on the other hand, you have got 5 laps of tires, nearly 6, and since in this track it's so easy to overtake, I really think I will trade track position for better race pace, and this is what Van Tielen is doing, and I think it is the winning strategy. The same has been fought by Ek, Wegman and Orkin, all the others into the pits. And in a lighter way from Smith, who went into the pits in this very lap. So Ek will stay out. Okay, very likely all these drivers will go in the pits in the not so short future. Oh, that was the rear slipping off for Benjamin Ek. .47.9 was the last lap for the 214 in the lead. 8.1 for Ek and 8.7, although it was a red lap, so I think he made a mistake. In comparison, Kieran gained 20 milliseconds on Van Tielen in the last lap. So now Kieran's lap times are not on the same rhythm as I thought. This could easily be just an off lap. I unfortunately don't have the history of the laps in this race control. Important to note that Gonzalez with the strategy is now in 10th place, getting attacked by Otto behind. Gonzalez has a lot more on the tires than anybody else. He has been out for 5 to 6 laps more than anybody else. Which will become 10 when Wegman will pit. So the last lap for Keenan was actually a 47.7, so something is not really working in Keenan's car. Or something is not the same as earlier on. because the lap times for both Keenan and Busov are not on the same rhythm as earlier on. Earlier on they made a 47.3 both, and now they are starting to get into the 47.6, but again, it could just be an off lap. Nothing to worry too much about, but for now Van Tielen goes over the line in a 47.9, so this is actually something to worry about, because the astonishing rhythm that I would have expected from Keenan and Busov in comparison to Van Tielen is not there. It's simply not there. Only 2 tenths have been gained in the last lap. And also, the Swedish driver in the BMW is lapping very, very good 48.2 in the last lap, so it's clear that Ek found the rhythm. Wegman's lap time is going to be a 48.5, so Wegman clearly off the pace by a chunk of time, as Cruz is getting closer to Orkin, who is going for the longer run, although with damage on the car, so his pace is ultimately ruined because of that. I'm trying to get in a sort of tactician mind. You have 1 minute of time to go into the pits and out of the pits, and at 1 minute and 5 seconds, and at the moment the gap between Keenan and Van Tielen is barely more than 1 minute and 5 seconds. Barely. So this is all to be cleared. Busov's pace is a bit overwhelming. Keenan seems to be back to a normal rhythm, 47.4. Busov's one, 48.1. Although I didn't check if... okay, now I can actually... I honestly want to check if the lap time was... I will just do something very, very short. Was it because... no, okay, it wasn't. Jaguar has been behind even the lap prior to this one, so this lap was actually on its own. So this means that actually Busov hasn't found the pace yet on the new tires, effectively promoting Van Tielen to position number 2 without really doing anything from the Belgians' perspective. Last lap it was a 47.6. He practically hasn't used the tires so far. 47.6. Keenan's lap time was a 47.8 with new tires, and Ek is not really that far away, although lapping a 48.2 in the last lap. His direct rival, who is Wegman, is lapping 48.4.5 consistently, and Holden has been lapping into the 48.5. And as I said it, he goes over the line for a 48.4. So Ek is actually gaining on the Ferrari driver. Very, very strange situation there. Otto still can't get in front of the Nissan in front. That's for 10th place overall, which will become 9th when Orkin will pit. So on track at the moment there are just some... okay, this doesn't really make any sense. Benjamin Ek, 48.015, and you can see personal best. Personal best for... ooh, curving. Having some troubles there. So I was saying personal best for Benjamin Ek, who at the moment number 86, second place technically, but virtually he is just in front of Holden. But the moment the pace is very good, even with worn tires. It's a shame he is practically mandated to go for the tires since the pit is 25 seconds, but it doesn't make any sense. The mandatory pit is 25 seconds, but it doesn't make any sense to just pit 5 seconds less here. It makes sense in Brands Hatch, in Zandvoort, in Dolder, but not here. Here is absolutely not a good idea. This may be the good time for Otto to get past Gonzalez. The Nissan actually pulls away from it, extending the gap on the main straight. Ooh, that's a missed apex for Otto, who loses half a second in that follow-up of corners. The shape of an S, formerly known as a chicane. This could be the good time for Otto, but again you can see the speed difference is atrocious. 282 for Gonzalez, top speed, 276 for Otto. He has to make it into the corners, and even then he has to maintain top speed. So the only way to effectively make an overtake count is in turn 1, because this means the GTR will not have the time to gain back the time, but the Porsche really can't. You can see it stays behind, and this means that the GTR will stay in front. Even because if the overtake happens into Lesmo 1 and 2, for example, there is a straight just after, and then into Ascari there is a straight just after, and then into Parabolica there is a straight just after. So the only real place to make an overtake on this GTR is into into the first chicane after the main straight. And again Otto loses the car in entry as Wegman goes into the pits. So top 2 actually forgot to pit for for how much they are staying out. They actually decided to go for an hour stint, which is a choice which is working. 47.8 was Van Tillen's last lap. Keenan just made a 47.4, but altogether it's not a huge loss for the Ferrari driver at the moment, and Eck is on the same page practically, although Wegman just pitted. This means that Holden will very likely gain a position there. You can hear Wegman's car going 50 kilometers per hour, but this means that Holden will pass through without any issue. You can see the car still in the pits. Those 4 pixels partially recognizable from the Ferrari's wing. Those are 10 seconds of gap. Was it Bergman after the spin with Otto? Not really in a great situation, as I think we lost him. No, we lost Keenan. We just lost Keenan. Oh no, disconnection. Just an hour after the start of the race, Terence Keenan, former leader of the race for the whole duration of the hour-long race, if this would have been a 60-minute race as usual, he would have won it, or at least he would have gained the second place, but unfortunately he will go home with another 0. And again for a disconnection, as you can see the Porsche trying to go on the inside of the Nissan, but nothing really happens there, so we lost Keenan. And we had quite a situation, and unfortunately it's not really a news, because every time he is in a important position, apparently he honestly, I know it sounds bad, but it has been more or less 1 year and a half that his issues have been going on for, and apparently he is still not able to resolve them. Great driver, great speed, but unfortunately he is not really lucky. Again, his connection fumbled, so this means he is out of the race once more. And again, the only times he leads the race, it's way more likely that he will disconnect than the times where he is dead last and he will have the perfect internet with not a single lag spike. It's absolutely gutting, the feeling, which practically gifts Van Tielen the win of the race, because honestly I don't think Busov will be able to match Van Tielen's current situation. Just want to see something here, because I kinda need it, but I think in the championship I'm quite sure that Van Tielen practically has the win, and so this means that he will have a good and fair advantage over Lucassen. Probably Keenan didn't have results so far, but not really because of its fault, but more likely, or rather effectively because of his disconnections. The only 2 races where he was effectively winning, he has been thrown out of the window by his internet provider. As Busov is 1 minute and 10 seconds. At this point I think Van Tielen is going for the whole race. He will just wait a second. Just that I don't want to be that kind of person, but yeah. In fact, I remembered just now that there isn't a fixed time in the pits in the 90-minute race, which is this one. You can actually pit for how much you want. In fact, Eck just went into the pits for 15 seconds. Just put fuel in the car. And this actually was the only way to gain a place, and that is why he is in front of Lowe in 5th place. actually remember just now that the rule is ignored in this longer race. So Ek is now 4th in front of Low, trying to go for a different tactic, but just 5 seconds. And Vantila at this point, I think he will just pit for fuel. Practically translating in he will have at least 20 seconds of advantage over Busov, who still is, well, this time around is different. He has gained the time. But even if Vantilen goes for the change of tires, he will still be ahead of Busov, so again, unless Vantilen explodes, which we saw multiple times how much easy it is for me to make things happen. I think the Belgian driver could have it in the pockets, as these two are going side by side into Ascari. First tries to look at it, but can't find anything. Personal best for Low just now, 47.8, just in time to go after Ek. And still side by side, but you can see the GTR gaining all the time. Oh, going a bit out of line in Parabolica, losing the rear, and this is the moment for Oddo to attack. Gonzalo, oh, he went into the wall. Oh, oh no, not like this. Oddo completely into the wall. After not only missing the GTR, oh, he didn't brake at all. He actually forgot to brake or something, and to avoid the car in front, he threw himself into the wall. And technically he gained the place like this, but I don't think it's a legal way to do it, and I think the damage he has is also going to impact the car a lot. But we'll see in the upcoming minutes. It was quite funny to see the GTR gaining back the time as it was nothing. And I don't think throwing the car into the wall is a good tactic. And even if somehow he manages to stay in front of Gonzalez, I really think that the steward will still have a say in the way the overtake was performed. He somehow is gaining. The top speed is going to be halved as Vantilen went finally into the pits. I want to see the top speed. He should reach 276 km per hour. He will be only able to reach 260, 270. It's actually not that bad. I mean, it is bad, but not that bad. And I mean, it is bad because Gonzalez just gained a half a second in that straight line. Also, Oddo gained 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 46.6 for Oddo, so that hasn't been the greatest idea I've ever seen, but it is an idea nevertheless. Wagner made the personal best so far, but he is still 9.5 seconds away from Holden, unfortunately, because of that contact earlier on. And it has to be said that any penalty given to Oddo will just put him where he is in class. That is curving, skipping the chicane, and giving the position to Robinson because of that. As this time Robinson skipped the chicane. It's an exchange of skipping chicanes there. Smith is now getting closer to Canton. For obvious reasons, Kinan will not get back in the grid. Again, I don't know how this is possible. Every time he's in a leading position, he has to blow up. Oh, the push is off! Canton losing the car after Scary. I was just looking at the times here and there. Oh, the rear completely slipped off into the gravel. He gained... Well, he gained. He remained on in the race without damages. But he lost a place on Smith. And I was looking at Bergman's lap time. 47.5 and a whole second faster than Holden. Now he has a 7... Okay, no, he will definitely not make this one count. And he lost everything. So Bergman is now 11 seconds away from Holden. Okay, I was about to say that if, and only if, a second per lap could have been made, he could have had a chance to go for Holden's place, but at this point there are 11 seconds gapping the two, and nothing will very likely come out of these. So now at this point is 4 seconds away from Eck. Now Eck obviously went for a different tactic. He went all in. He just said, well, he went for a different tactic, and he was also 1,000 miles away from Low. So at the moment the tactic is working out, but Low has better tires than Eck, or rather he has new tires. Period. Since Eck didn't change them, he is with tires with the same set of tires from lap 1. He has been doing the whole race with a single set of tires, and he has been doing it so far in a pretty good shape. Last lap it was a 48.3, and he made a 48.0 on practically the final 40 minutes of racing. 1 hour and 10 minutes into the race, I think. So the pace is definitely there, but he's now starting to lose massively. And Low is obviously helped by the fact that he has new tires. In front of the field, Busov is quite clearly not able to match his own lap times from earlier on. 47.9, so at this point I think he's just bringing the car home. He obviously knows that he can't in any possible way gain back those 17 seconds in 13 minutes. Like, it's literally impossible. He has to go like 2 seconds per lap quicker than Van Tielen, so at this point he just bring the car home. Same goes for Cruz, 9 seconds away from Busov, and lapping slower than him. So this actually revolves around Eck and Low for the final positions in class, as although moreover being around 40 seconds behind Low, he will very likely have a penalty pending on his name after Bergman's contact. And if not dead, that one is going to be the one for the effective cut in the first chicane. But regardless of the penalty, he will be 6th in class, which is 6 out of 6. This here is also closing on the car ahead, which is the Nissan GT3 in those final 7 laps of racing, maybe 6. Oh wait, what happened here? So Holden made a terrible mistake, and now Bergman is in the lead. I have to give myself a better look at it. So I think he lost the car here on Ascari. Yeah, he went over the curb and over the gravel, and he lost the lead on the car number 67. So now Bergman is in front of Holden all of a sudden. So at this point, how is this possible? How is this possible that every time I say something regarding someone that has certainly a position, that very person either explodes or crashes or goes out? How? How am I so able to do it? I mean, for now, the only survivor of this is Van Tielen. Because Bergman is now... the lap earlier I said, okay, it's impossible to gain back those 11 seconds. And that is why he is now in front of Holden. I honestly, I don't even know what to say about this. I will just say that... I give up. I honestly give up. I will never say again... This is an important lesson. Never say never. Or rather, never say anything, because at this point everything you say will always go against you. Everything you think will just be the opposite at this point. You never know. Let's kiss here. I was looking at the battle here between the two. As we are getting into the final laps of the race, after 1 hour and 30 minutes. No, he hasn't changed his size, so that's why he is in 4th place at the moment, in front of Low. lapping 3 tenths of a second slower than Eck, then Low. 48.0 was the last lap. Eck made a 48.3, but effectively it has been like this for the whole time. Whereas the case here is basically matching the same times as the Nissan had. Oh, Gonzalez went a bit into the gravel there. He lost a tiny bit of time, but nothing too much to worry about. Top 13 for now in the lead lap, as the leader is going across Ascari. Although this time around I think he's definitely closer than earlier on. 9 tenths of a second Gonzalez in the Audi R8 Evo 2. And mind that Gonzalez is the oldest on the tires. He has been going on for 10 minutes more than anybody else. At least. But still, he started in 19th place, now he's in 9th. So his tactic somehow actually worked. Oh, again into the gravel, and this time the Audi is very close to the Nissan up ahead, but remember that the GTR is rocket cheap in straights. Last lap for Low was an awful lap, 49.3 for Low. Eck made a 48.1. Clearly a mistake by Low's side. This is effectively the last battle we have, but no, these 90 minutes have actually been eventful. There have been quite a few battles here and there, but we are now getting to the final part. Very likely Eki is going to stay in 4th place at this point. Around 4 seconds is the gap, and essentially the BMW driver just has to deliver the car home, and his tactic will have worked perfectly. Not changing the tires actually worked. Ooh, that was very close to the wall for Keys, who saved the car. I think it's time to go for the external cameras, because at this point maybe there will not even be a battle for 9th place. Wegman just made the personal best, 47.5, which is very close to the best lap time of the whole race. which unfortunately I can't know because it was Kinnon's lap time and it's not shown. So Wegman's pace was there all along, but clearly had something wrong in his car, or he didn't understand how some lines had to be taken. He now clearly has it in mind, and now he's setting absolute fast times. But it also helps that he went into the pits as one of the latest cars and changed tires. So that actually maybe some skewness in the statistic. Low gained 6/10 in the last lap, but he has to do more than that to gain the place on Eck. He has to gain practically double that. Whilst Kiss just has to make an effective one single good lap to gain the place on Gonzalez and gain the podium in class. As the white flag has been shown to Van Tielen. So last lap brought to you by FRL. So we're going for one last time with the Belgian driver. Turn 1 and 2, first chicane. Proceed, which has practically the history of the country. It has been in the F1 calendar every single year, and it's the most recognizable track in the world. Effectively has the record in F1 as the fastest in terms of average speed lap ever, not the fastest in time kind of way, and it will come back for World Endurance Championship, the WEC, in the upcoming year, as this one was in Imola. Source, I was there. And also F1 will have the new track with the new surface. But Van Tielen, who's playing with the car a bit, as he is there without any trouble, he is going to win round number 4 in in Monza. I ruined everything. In Monza, after 1 hour and a half, Busov will get second place, his first second place, actually his first podium altogether, and completes the race in second, with Kroos 7 seconds behind, completing in the podium in the car 2-3-3. Then it is going to be Benjamin Eck that gained 4th place with a good tactic. Behind is Craig Lowe in 5th place, and then your winner, somehow, I'll be honest, somehow, is Tom Wegman again. Sever has been absolutely smashing the field, and even when he is not in contention for the win, he still wins. as he goes across the line to win the race. Holden will get second place, although 8th place completes the race. Aston Bergman at this point has literally won every single race. Gonzalez goes on 9th place with Kiss behind. Then Novak in Curva Albereto, which is not anymore the Parabolica, and Canton completes last in the lead lap. Then we got Smith, Orkin, Robinson, Corbin, Sperla, Jabudal, Keenan, Casitrash, Vianello, and Brown are your finishers of the race. This has been round number 4. Be sure to stay on. Oops. For this one. No, I don't have the correct image. No, this is way older than expected. Give me this. Where are you? Here you are. For Donington next week, we're going in Donington in the British countryside, and then it's going to be the American double round with Cota and Laguna Seca, and then Rush Life is the last round of the season. But I thank to everyone who joined the live stream, all the drivers, and I'll see you all, I finally can say it, for once, on track next week. Not even next week, it's Saturday. There are still some spots available in GT4, but I will see you all in Rush Life racing, and then next week in Donington. See you next time. Bye.